Good morning, UP scientists. Today we're going to continue to learn about where plants get their food by looking at a book called Energy Makes It All Go. So before we read, we're going to get ready and figure out what we're going to be trying to learn as we read. So remember, our investigation question is, where do food molecules for plants come from? So think about what we learned from investigating with the sim on Tuesday. And just what are some ideas that you now have about where food molecules for plants come from? So we're going to go ahead and read this book to find out a little bit more about how plants get food molecules. And the question we're investigating is about food molecules. So what do you think food molecules have to do with energy? So this is, again, just your first ideas. What do you think food has to do with energy? Okay, so energy is the ability to make things move or change. So anytime something moves or changes from one form to another, it's going to take some energy to do that. Let's go ahead and write the definition for energy, just as you see it on the screen right now, in the box up to the right here, and also in your paper notes so you have easy access to it in later lessons. Okay, at this point, we want to go ahead and get access to the book. So in order to do that, we're going to go to our 5th grade bookmark for Amplify Science. We're going to click the little button at the bottom that says log into Amplify. We're going to use this username and password right here, remote learning tryamplify.net. Password is remote learning 2020 to log in. Scroll all the way down until we find the ecosystem restoration unit, the one with the picture of our jaguar and sloth and rainforest on it. And then we're going to click the purple number 1 that says energy makes it all go at the bottom to access the book for today's lesson. So right now what you want to do is just take a quick look through the book, just go through all the pages, take a look at the table of contents first. And what do you notice about how the book is organized? So you should have seen that it has different sections about plants, herbivores, carnivores, omnivores, and decomposers. Think about what you might learn about energy by reading this book based on that organization. So remember, one way to understand what you're reading is to synthesize or connect together ideas in order to come to a new understanding. As you read, you should be stopping every few pages to think about what it is that you just read. So you can ask yourself something like, what did I read about where the plants get their food molecules? Did I read any information that can help me answer this question? So we're going to go ahead and open up the Google Doc that's attached to today's lessons, where we're going to be doing most of the work for the rest of the lesson. On this first page, you're going to record notes about important information you read, along with the page number where you found the information. So after that, you'll connect those ideas to come to some kind of new understanding. So at this point, we can turn to page 4 in the book, or you can just follow along with me on screen. So we're going to go ahead and read this aloud. So energy for living. Everywhere on Earth, in the air, on the land, and in the water, there are living things or organisms. The organisms on Earth are constantly growing, moving, and doing all the things they need to do to survive. Zebras gallop, flowers bloom, whales swim, ants crawl, and birds fly. To do anything, all organisms need energy. It takes a lot of energy to power every living thing on Earth all the time. Where does all the energy come from? food for energy. Organisms need food matter to build their bodies, but that's not the only thing organisms do with food. They also need food to get energy. Organisms get energy by breaking down some of the food matter they take in. Let's look at the example of a rabbit. A rabbit uses food matter to build its body, but it also gets energy by breaking down food matter. The rabbit uses energy it gets from breaking down food to do all the things you can see a rabbit do, such as run, jump, eat, and have babies. It also uses energy to do things that are harder to see, like keep warm, breathe, grow, pump blood, and much more. Every organism in an ecosystem, a rabbit, a fox, an ant, tiny bacteria, and even the grass, gets energy from food matter. Even plants need food. It may seem strange to think of grass and other plants needing food. After all, plants can't eat. You may have heard of something called plant food, a kind of fertilizer that people add to the soil in their gardens to help plants grow. Fertilizer isn't food, however. You can't actually feed a plant. Fertilizers are really just nutrients that help plants grow better, like vitamins for plants. A plant can't get energy from nutrients, just as you can get energy by eating only a vitamin pill. If plants don't eat, how do they get their food? So let's look back at this section on page 7. And what ideas do you see about plants and food that would help us learn where food molecules for plants come from? So you should have put something like that all living things including plants need some food. You also can't directly feed a plant, and they can't get energy from nutrients such as plant food that we put in our plants that we grow maybe on our balcony or on our windowsill. So you're going to pick one of those ideas and record notes about the information on page 7 that we just looked at. Make sure we are recording the page number here also. We're going to do that in the very first box on our Google Doc. So page 7 should go right there. And there are many pieces of information that are important, and there's not one right answer for this. So the purpose here is to better understand the text and learn more about plants and food. So once you've gotten your notes down for page 7, you're going to go ahead and read the rest of the book. So there is also a read aloud version of it that I'll be posting to Google Classroom under the Ecosystem Restoration Materials section of our classwork tab as soon as this is posted. So you can either read the book on your own or follow along with me as I read it. So either way, as you're reading, make sure you are recording in your Google Doc ideas related to where plants get food molecules. So by the time you get to the end of the book, you should have at least 4 ideas. Some of them can come from the same pages, but always make sure that you're writing down the page number where you saw it. And once you've finished writing all those ideas, we're going to go ahead and synthesize them or put them together. So let's think about how the ideas from the book could be connected. And we're going to put all those together, think about them for a while, and then think about what new understanding do you have about how plants get food molecules. So we're going to go ahead and record that new understanding at the bottom in Google Doc. So now we're going to take that new understanding and we're going to build an even bigger understanding from it by combining it with some other ideas. So remember, we're trying to answer this question: where do food molecules for plants come from? So on the second page, you want to take that new understanding you just got and write it down in this first box here where it says source energy makes it all go. So you want to write your new idea down right there. Then what we're going to do for that second box there is we're going to observe the sim. And there we to look for ideas about where plants get their food molecules. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this video of the sim that takes us through all the steps. So just for now, I'll hide myself and we can watch and listen.
Let's observe the ecosystem restoration sim to look for ideas about where plants get their food molecules. Observe what happens when we press play and let the sim run. Now observe what happens to the plants when we remove the sun. I'll return the sun by selecting Add Sunlight, and then I'll remove the water by selecting the roots. Observe what happens to the plants. Now, I'll remove carbon dioxide by selecting the air. Now observe what happens. Let's discuss what we observed.
Okay, so based on what you just saw in the sim there, what information and new ideas did you get from the sim that are going to help you understand how plants get food molecules? So you're going to record as many answers as you can in that second page under ecosystem restoration simulation, right in this box right here, that you got from just watching that sim. And you can always go back and watch again. So what happened when different things were taken away? What happened to the plants? So, and what do you, based on that, what do you think plants need in order to make food? So there's no right answers. We're going to record all the answers there. And then if we put all those new ideas together, what's the new understanding that we can come to about where food molecules for plants come from? So we're going to go ahead and write that in the new understanding on the last box here. So it'll go right here, new understanding on the second page of our Google Doc. And then based on those new understandings, we're going to be continuing in the next lesson to model where and how plants get their food molecules. So once you've done that, make sure all the answers in your Google Docs are complete. Make sure all of those boxes are filled out on both pages. So that's where most of the points for today are going to be coming from. Once you're done with that, that is the end of today's lesson, and I will see everybody tomorrow. Have a good day.